Spring training ends tonight, and the major league season is here. It feels like last year came and went in an instant, but we're already back to the 2026 season, and we're back. It's Deferred Collusion. It's me, Jesse Rowe, King of Crespi, joined as always by Branden Bullinger, Lord Paramount of Los Angeles, California. Branden, the defending champions, return one more time tonight against the Angels, and then it's opening day. 2 days from now, Yoshinobu Yamamoto takes the mound. I couldn't be more excited. How are you, buddy?
I'm excited, Jess. It's warming up, dude. It's getting spring. It's getting sprung. Baseball's here.
Sorry, I should have said Yoshinobu Yamamoto, not the Dodgers ace, takes the mound on opening day.
Shouts out my boy Andy McCullough. Little foot and mouth moment, in my opinion, there, although he is very respectable in my opinion. Yamamoto not already an ace is baffling to me. He's done it all, except, I guess, log 180 innings, which is apparently the minimum to become an ace you have to hit in a season. So he was, I guess, Andy McCullough. He's a Dodgers beat reporter. Love his stuff.
He works for The Athletic, and he does a tier list, and he has Yamamoto in his second tier of aces, right? And basically implying that Yamamoto is not a top tier ace, and I guess it's because of his innings or whatever that he hasn't pitched a ton of innings in a regular season yet. But I'm just I don't understand personally. Whoa, something's happening here with my lighting. I don't understand personally how you could look at what just happened in the World Series and in the playoffs and what he did, where if that's not an ace, a guy that pitches a complete game, that wins both of his starts in the World Series, pitches on back-to-back days in Game 6 and 7, and then closes out the World Series, and that was the only guy the Dodgers called upon to do that. The World Series champion team, no less, best team in baseball, best pitcher on the best team in baseball. How on God's green earth is that guy not an ace? There's literally no logic behind saying he's not an ace, and I feel like maybe he wants to take that one back if he could, because I like Andy McCullough. I just think that was one of his worst takes. Probably.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You said everything that needed to be said.
Yeah.
I just couldn't agree more. I don't understand the hesitancy in just saying what you have already seen with your eyes, and that is an ace. And Jesse,
him being an ace.
Correct me. Yeah, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, but what do you call the guy who starts for your team on opening day? In my book, it's called an ace. Your team's ace starts opening day, or at least your home opener, right? Whatever, however you want to have your cake, eat it. I'm not trying to yuck your yum, but Jess, am I crazy? Is that not what we call an ace, right? If you've earned it, right, to start on opening day, you are an
ace. He matches all the criteria. You know who does not match all the criteria right now? And I'm not this. We're not here to bash on him, but Roki Sasaki does not match all of the criteria. Even though he is still slated to be in the Dodgers rotation to start the year, he will be on the team. But his spring training troubles continued yesterday against the Angels. It was the second time in this spring where he was unable to record an out in the first inning, giving up 4 runs, where he's pulled from the game and then put back into the game to start the second inning, because in spring training rules you're allowed to you're allowed to reset and do that. So yeah, not good. He ends his spring with a 15+ ERA, and he ended up going 2 innings last night, but gave up 4 runs. 15. What's his spring ERA? Do you have it? 15 point something.
Yeah, it was 15.82 or something. It was pushing 15. I'm not going to die on the hill of that number, but that's what I believe I saw. But yeah, it just kind of looked like it all spring. It kind of looked like it never came together for Roki. When the fastball was sizzling in the high 90s and hundreds, couldn't locate it, right? When it was slower, when it was 95 or sub, guys were just waiting on it, right? It was kind of like, okay, I think the book is out, 2-pitch pitcher, and everybody was waiting all spring for that third pitch. And it's kind of tough when your first pitch isn't working, and that being the fastball, obviously. I'm a huge Roki stan. I was fired up about Friedman, hunting this young talent from Japan before we even signed Yamamoto. So I am all in on Roki. I believe in the arm talent, but we're not seeing it all come together. I don't know if maybe there's some sort of uncomfortability in the States. This is all new. He's a young guy. So I don't know. Maybe it's a clash of philosophy. I know that there were some people in Dodger Twitter kind of grumbling about his comments about not being a part of Team Japan and saying that it wasn't his decision, that basically the team made the decision for him. I think that's a little bit blown out of proportion because, Jess, I know you read this too. Roki is saying he's willing to start the season in the minors, whatever he needs to do to, work on this. If you recall, in his pitch to teams when he was interviewing, seeing where he wanted to sign, he asked them, why am I losing velocity? What can you do to help me regain it? So there is something in this guy's mind and in his body that is weighing him down, for lack of a better term, Jess. And I don't know if we're starting to see maybe some mileage on the arm that potentially needs to be cleaned up and the team is being very hush-hush about it, or if this is just a mechanics breakdown, some mix of all the above. Jess, what do you see it?
I mean, I think that he's always had some issues with his mechanics. Let's not forget, he's very young. He's only 23 years old. When he throws strikes, I think he can be an effective starting pitcher. He's not throwing strikes right now. He had 3 walks in the first inning, and he also hit a batter and walked a batter to lead off of the next time he was up in the second inning. Just not locating at all, not controlling his splitter either. I can't tell you how many times have we seen him just lose his splitter arm side and it hits a right-handed batter on the hands or whatever. He did it in the World Series and he did it in his start against the Angels yesterday. These games don't matter. I understand that, and this is the time for him to figure this stuff out. But when he did start to throw strikes, he started to be effective. He got a couple swings and misses. He got a couple strikeouts, got a couple ground balls. He ended up and got a double play, got out of the inning, ended up completing 2 innings after the first. And so I do think when he throws strikes, he can be effective, but we know that his fastball does not play well for a 97-plus mile-an-hour fastball. He doesn't have the good vert and ride on it. The spin rate on it is okay, but it's not. It just doesn't have an elite profile, the kind of profile you want for a 4-seam fastball, which is why it's so important for him to find that third pitch, and it's so important for him to throw strikes, because the fastball just gets hit hard, and if you're not locating the splitter, you can just sit fastball and just crush it. It's just you're too predictable. Yeah. So I think that I'm not worried about Roki long term. I think Roki has all the arm talent to be a really, really good pitcher. Whether that's going to be in the bullpen or going to be in the starting rotation, don't know yet. What I do know is there's no reason why he should be making the team right now. When you consider he has a 15+ ERA, you have to earn your spot on the team. I think that they're just doing this out of respect for the fact that he pitched so well in the World Series, and he earned his spot on the team in the playoffs, basically. Yeah. That's what I think. That's what I think this comes down to. He's also really good friends with Shohei. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Is there some LeBron James le GM stuff going on with Shohei? It's they're doing it to make Shohei happy.
Hey man,
maybe?
there could be some colluding in the background.
But
it wouldn't be unprecedented, right? But
realistically, who deserves a spot on the team? Is it River Ryan or is it Roki in the starting rotation? I should say it's River Ryan. But I think that River Ryan's coming off of surgery. He's coming off of Tommy John, so they're going to give him a chance to build back up his arm strength. Roki, I don't think will be in the starting rotation for very long if he continues pitching this way. And I do think that a trip back to the minor leagues at some point is definitely on the table, because when he did go to the minor leagues last year, he worked on his mechanics, his delivery, and he came back a much better pitcher for it. Something is off between the ears with Roki right now. I don't think it has anything to do with his talent. I think the talent's there, not worried about it. He needs to get his head right.
Interesting. I definitely think there is some sort of disconnect, right? We see the talent, but we're not seeing the execution, and we're seeing somebody on the mound that looks uncomfortable. And let me just grid that real quick. But yeah, dude, there's people on Dodger Twitter, kind of in the dregs of society, if you will, dude, little negative Nancyers, but are saying that he looks like a guy that has paper thin confidence right now. Want to agree, right? I want to agree after the first inning of last night's game, but the next couple innings are why I actually think that's bullcrap, dude. I think he's actually got a lot of mental fortitude. This is a guy that wasn't just a superstar that, kind of had all the hype and has worked his way up. It's a guy that's earned everything, has suffered through some personal tragedy, and is in a whole new world, in a whole new league, following the greatest player from his country ever, right? The Michael Jordan of baseball, dude. The modern day Maharaja, if you will, brother. The king himself, dude. Shohei Ohtani. I mean, there's all the reason in the world to be a little flustered and frustrated. But like you said, this guy showed up when it mattered most for this team in October. Took the losses, took the tough lessons. The people saying, oh man, if he's crying, like there's no way that he's going to last in this league. Big leaguers, former big leaguers were saying this about the kid, And then he shuts up all the haters in October. But Jess, it was a bit of a rocky road. I'm saying all this basically to say that he's earned the runway for this rough landing in spring training. But to your point, when the games start to matter, it doesn't matter if it's March and April that he struggles in. If there's some rough starts, we're going to see him sent back down to the minors, and rightfully so. Like you said, there are guys knocking at the door that had fantastic springs, like River Ryan. Jess, we'll get into it in a bit, but Roki's far from the only guy that's, got a questionable spot on the roster. Should he be there? Should he not?
Yeah.
But I do believe in him, and I think the way you show a young talent that you believe in him to show up for your team is to give him that runway when he's having a rough landing. So look for Roki to make some bounce-back starts. Look for that fastball to start locating, and hopefully we see a little slide piece action. I don't know. Clayton Kershaw turned into a Hall of Famer when he found a third pitch, and I'm not saying that's Roki, but I'm expecting some fireworks if he can start locating that fastball and we find some sort of effective third pitch.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that, I've seen him be great against the best in baseball. I saw him pitch 3 scoreless innings in Game 4 of the NLDS against the Phillies. 3 perfect innings against that lineup. He was nails. And so I've seen him go more than 1 inning and be effective. Mm-hmm. So I think that, there's a good major league pitcher in there somewhere. It's just, it's up to him to find it. That's what it comes down to. He's got to find it. He's got to work on his mechanics, and he's got to throw strikes. If you're walking 3 guys, especially on a terrible team like the Angels, and a team they gave up they scored 7 runs yesterday and still ended up in a tie, and that's all because Roki was unable to throw strikes in the first inning. Yeah, the Angels had no business scoring. Roki gave them those runs. So long as he can figure out how to throw strikes and how to land his splitter, he'll be effective if he can do that. But until then, he's going to have to work through some stuff. And I still believe that he'll be okay eventually. But it might be too much for Dodger fans to expect him to become an elite pitcher right now. The only elite Roki we're going to get, I believe, will probably be out of the bullpen. Otherwise, we're just going to have to sort of ride with him until he matures and figures out, an arm slot, mechanics, and, temperament, all that stuff. Other stories coming out of spring here. I was very disappointed about Kim Hyeseong not making the Dodgers opening day roster. He hit 400 in spring, 967 OPS. But Alex Freeland gets the job, despite hitting 5 for 43. That's a sub 200 average, and that's just barely above the Mendoza line, and a 519 OPS. But he walked 10 times, whereas Kim only had like 1 walk, I believe. So the Dodgers liked Freeland's plate discipline. So before we get into how you feel about it, apparently the Dodgers felt like Kim was out of sync coming back from the WBC, playing for Korea. His strikeout rate is high, even though his contact is high, not adjusting to velocity, and not drawing any walks. So they're concerned that, his on-base percentage will be low. So they figure put him in the minor leagues to start the year, let him get as many at-bats as possible, where he would get less at-bats to start the year if it was on the major league team, because they're going to be platooning second base a bit more. Get him as many at-bats as possible in the minors so that he can work on some things. Do you think this is the right call, or did you not understand this one? This one's a bit of a head-scratcher.
Looking at it just head on, just calling it for what it is, just what I can see before I start speculating, yeah, it's a head-scratcher. I don't get it. Kim dazzled all spring. Looked great in his limited time in the bigs last year. Yeah, definitely could tone down the strikeouts. But I think everybody could see the electricity, like a damn near 5-tool player, if you will. I know maybe I'm overshooting a little bit and overglazing Kim, but I'm not too sure about Freeland over Kim right now at this point. Maybe there's some matchups early in the season that they're feeling like Freeland can, maybe find his feet. Maybe that's what it is, and who knows. Another part of me, though, and this is the speculatory side, Jess, I really think that maybe his hand is a little bit more beat up. If you recall, during the World Baseball Classic, he injured his hand, maybe wrist, I forget exactly, on a sliding play into second base.
Yes.
So maybe that's affecting his ability to catch up to velocity, and he simply needs a little bit of a longer recovery time, and this is a little bit of roster magic, if you will, by sending him down because he, I guess, maybe has more options left. I don't know, because that's what's confusing, Jess. I still come back to this. It's not like he's on a rookie contract. He's in the middle of a 3-year, $12 million contract. I don't get it. I don't get how him at second base isn't a priority to start the season, but I will trust the process.
Well, so, you and I, like, anybody who watches this knows that you and I are big Hyeseong Kim truthers. Like, we are fully on board. Like, you made the point that, like, if he gets a lot of playing time in the first half of the year, like, let's say Tommy Edman takes a long time to come back, like that, he has the bat-to-ball skills to potentially challenge for an all-star team, especially at second base, which is a pretty widespread weak position around the league. Like, if you put up, like, a 300 batting average, you could be competing for an all-star spot at second base. And I think Hyeseong Kim has all the tools to do that. You might be a little bit more reaching for the stars on that pick than I would, but I respect it, and I believe in the guy. I think he has elite bat to ball skills that could challenge for like a 300 batting average throughout the year, maybe hit 15 homers. He's that kind of hitter. But I think you're onto something about his hand, and I do. If there's one thing that I respect more than Hyeseong Kim as a player, it's the Dodgers front office and their decision-making apparatus. So whatever it is that they see and that they need to decide, I believe Kim will be the better for Kim, and that Kim will get enough playing time this year to make me happy as a Hyeseong Kim fan. I just wanted him to be on the opening day roster. Like, I know that Rojas was probably going to be the starter because he's the playoff hero, but I do think I was expecting to see a lot of Hyeseong Kim to start the year, with Edman down until late May, apparently, is the report. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. It's going to be Alex Freeland. So we'll see. But I want him back as soon as possible because I think that he's such a dynamic guy that could be hitting at the back end of the lineup in front of Shohei. When the lineup turns around, you have a guy that can hit 300 right in front of Shohei Ohtani with a lot of speed. get that guy in my lineup, man. Like, I
Yeah.
want to see him there. So
I think
hopefully it all
there's
works out quickly.
I think, and just to give Freeland a little bit of, a little prop too, like, hey, we are truthers out here for Alex Freeland. We do believe in him as well. I think they do appreciate the flexibility between the outfield and infield. We know Kim had a little bit of difficulty in the outfield last year in limited time, made a couple awkward plays on some balls, is a natural infielder. And Freeland does have a little bit of that Dodgers coveted platoon ability in both infield and outfield.
Yeah, and they really do like his plate discipline. I mean, he did have 10 walks in the spring. He didn't knock the cover off the ball, but he does have very good discipline, which I do think they want Kim to work on. They want to find a way for Kim to draw more walks, I think.
Absolutely. So. They're looking for a guy to set the table at that 9 spot for Shohei throughout the game. And with a guy like Freeland, you're like, hey, man, if he can, walk his way to first, what do I care? When Shohei knocks him in, it's all that matters. So Kim, I think, is just a little bit more about the wrist-hand thing. And like you said, just getting a little bit more accustomed to Major League pitching again after the World Baseball Classic and healing up. So, and Kim, we trust, baby.
967 OPS in spring. He hit 400, and he was pretty good last year too. In his limited playing time, I've seen nothing but good things from Kim Hyeseong. You know what I mean? And I want to see more of this guy because I really do think he could be one of the most dynamic players on the Dodgers when he really gets into a groove as a major leaguer.
Oh, Jesse, a little bit of breaking news. I don't know if you saw that, but the numbers for PCA just came out.
I had it ready to go. Go ahead. Yeah,
$115 million smackers. The California kid, dude, hates Dodgers Stadium. We're all bum fans. Pete Crow Armstrong, 6-year, $115 million. How does that tickle your tonsils?
Yeah, he's so it starts in 2027, goes through 2032. He buys out 2 free agent years, this year and next year. No options, so he'll be a Cub for the next 8 years.
Tight.
This is something I wanted to wait until PCA came to Dodger Stadium, where he maybe got some boos from fans and stuff for me to really weigh in on that. But hey, good for him. He had a good first half and then a really bad second half last year.
Had a good World Baseball Classic.
He did. He had some big hits. He had a 2-homer game, I think, for the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong.
More clutch than Captain Judge.
Yes, and plays amazing defense. So the Cubs have their center fielder for the future.
They got their guy
locked up. So good for them. Dodgers rotation was also announced. So as of right now, to start the year, they're going with a 5-man rotation, and they're fully locked in on Roki Sasaki being in it because it's going to be Yamamoto opening day, Emmett Sheehan game 2. Tyler Glasnow, game 3. By the way, Glasnow had an amazing spring. He pitched the most out of any Dodger pitcher. 15 innings, 26 strikeouts. I mean, he was locked down. 5 innings, 11 strikeouts against the Angels the other day. He had an amazing spring. He looks great. Glasnow, he's ready to rock. And then Roki Sasaki will pitch game 4, and then Shohei Ohtani will be their number 5 starter to start the year. Does he pitch tonight?
Chewy?
I believe he does.
That'd be rad.
Who pitches
I'm not
for
positive.
the Dodgers? Hold on, let me see. Who pitches tonight? Because I don't think I've seen him pitch yet. Yeah, he pitches tonight against the Angels.
Hey.
We'll get an idea of how he looks. Yeah, and as for Blake Snell, along with Tommy Edman, Dave Roberts says that they are going to expect him back, hopefully, and towards the end of May. Whenever Dodgers use terms like "we hope," that always makes me feel like, okay, so maybe mid-June, tack on a couple more weeks onto that. Dodgers are going to play it very safe with Blake Snell. He's dealing with some shoulder stuff, some maybe fatigue from pitching in the World Series. They're taking it very slow with him. They want him. Basically, what this means is they just want him for October. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to...
100%.
I drafted him in fantasy baseball, by the way, like in the very late rounds of my draft. Just like, okay, fine. I'm just going to have him for the playoff run. You know, like I'll just dispatch Blake Snell for the playoff run. That's perfect. Well,
some people are saying that Blake is getting ready for the season in other ways, high stress environments like streaming while playing Among Us.
Yeah.
You know, that's a heart pounder, a lot of stress, a lot of strategy. Sound familiar, dude? Ever heard of a big league pitcher, dude? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're about the same thing, so.
I did hear some like Padres podcasters talking about this once, saying that like they think he cares more about playing video games than he does about being a pitcher, which is dumb,
dude.
But this guy does love to play video games and streaming, and he's very fun. Like if you remember, literally right after the World Series, he was streaming and he started throwing some shade at Vladdy, calling like Vladdy's dad, like Vladdy's your daddy. And then he made a point like, yo, like, how many rings does he got? You know? So, if you need some entertainment, go watch some Blake Snell on the live stream. It's pretty fun.
Always fun.
But he'll be back end of May. So will Tommy Edman. And, yeah, just get well. That's all we care about. Because that, you know, Blake Snell could be the Dodgers ace when he's fully healthy.
Hey, but would it really surprise anybody? I mean, he really is. Like ace quality. So I guess maybe Andy McCullough thinks he's more of an ace than Yamamoto. I'm guessing, right?
Well, I mean, dude, if Andy McCullough's criteria is like pitching full seasons, how does Blake Snell make that criteria? I mean, he's like one of the most often injured pitchers ever. This is like every year for him. He won the only 2 times that he had like a full season. He won a Cy Young. That's how good this guy is when he pitches a full season. So, yeah, we will see. But Sheehan is the number 2 pitcher, even though he had a bad spring. But that just shows how much they believe in him and his results last year. Because, you know, Emmett Sheehan is just he might be my favorite Dodger pitcher right now. Just
dude.
Love what I'm getting from that guy.
He's just one of those, like, just, I don't know, that like the guy that comes up in the league kind of unassuming. There are other young talents around him that are, like, shining. But every time he got his opportunity, he made something of it.
He's like the forgotten guy in the rotation.
Totally. Because, I mean, I think we spent more time kind of talking about, like, I don't know, like Jack Dreyer when he was having his hot streak than we did, like, Emmett Sheehan. But old, reliable Sheehan, dude. You know what they say? We are men for Sheehan.
Dude, I'm a she-male for sure, dude.
That's right, dude. I'm a full She-man. She-man.
By the way, great video. Speaking of Blake Snell and Emmett Sheehan, there's a great video from Arizona. This was like a few weeks ago where Snell is pretending like he's taking a picture of Emmett Sheehan at the Dodgers complex or like at a restaurant or something, but he's actually taking a video. So Emmett Sheehan is just awkwardly staring at the camera, smiling for like 45 seconds, not realizing that Snell is actually just taking a video of him. It's amazing. Go check it out on Snell's social media. That's the kind of behind-the-scenes look that we love here at Deferred Collusion.
We definitely do. Love to see the brotherhood in action.
Okay, so I want to get into my the best performances out of spring here because I think it's going to tie in a little bit to like our X factors for the Dodgers.
Yeah, baby.
If you stay with us this long, we're going to get into our Dodgers X factors, but we're also going to do our NL preview. We're not going to spend as much time on as we did with the AL preview. But we're just going to go through each division, give our picks, and then who we think is going to come out of the NL. Is it going to be the Dodgers again? And then, who wins the World Series? So, Branden, have we not said that for the past couple of years that like the Dodgers X factor in the lineup, if it's not Max Muncy, it's Teoscar Hernandez?
Oh, yes, we have, Daddy-O.
I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, like when he's going, the Dodgers lineup is unstoppable. We saw it in the 2024 playoff run. We saw what he could do in that season when he had a monster year for the Dodgers. And then last year, he's nursing a bad hamstring. Has a down year, but still a pretty good year and has, a huge hit against the Phillies and the NLDS, but did not, overall, after that, was not very good in the playoffs in the World Series. He struggled. Well, he's healthy. His hamstring's feeling good, and he is having he had a monster spring. He's hitting .468, .510 on base, 1.383 OPS with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs. I mean, if this guy carries it over, obviously he's not going to hit plus 400, but if he's having his like 30 homer season, hitting 270 plus, 100 plus RBIs, 800 plus OPS, this guy is the ultimate X factor for the Dodgers lineup, and just makes it that much more impossible to get through. Because if he's clicking, just forget about it. They're going to score 6 runs a game.
Yeah. I mean, and Jess, I mean, you didn't even touch on it. I mean, you got a lot to cover. You have really pinpointed some fire numbers I didn't even know. I didn't know the OPS was that high. That is super impressive from a guy that you go, oh, is he striking out too much? Yeah, I guess we saw it a little bit more this postseason, but just the clutch factor from Teo has just been there for his entire tenure with the Dodgers. Dave Roberts even mentioned it after the 2024 season. I mean, we all watched it all postseason. Hey, that double off the wall off Garrett Cole to make it a 5-5 game and the eventual World Series clincher was just such a beautiful piece of hitting. And you just love to see a guy succeed. We saw him cry after that parade in 24, and Dodger Nation just fell in love with him. How could you not? So to see him healthy, have this kind of success in spring, like you said, along with Max, that funky Muncy, just punishing the ball. Muncy had 3 home runs, tied for most this spring, as well as a 1-daughter OPS for the spring training. So, hey, a guy who got glasses and is a effing beast, dude. Pretty fired up. Shouts out for Munz. But those are 2 guys that are going to be in the heart of the lineup, just clicking, mashing taters, who don't even get the spotlight, Jess, when you're talking about our MV3 and our Captain America, Will Smith, and the new, big shiny toy in Kyle Tucker.
Well, so it's funny because the 3 people that we want to talk about here led the Dodgers spring in home runs. Teo had the most with 5. Muncy, as you mentioned, had 3.
Sorry, I said he was tied for most, my bad.
Yes, I was going to correct you there. Nick Senzel also had a nice spring, by the way. He's like a random pickup for the Dodgers. He's going to start the year in the minor leagues. But, that just shows the depth here. Dalton Rushing had 3 home runs. Backup catcher to the best catcher in baseball, Will Smith. Zach Sawinski, that's a name from the past. 3 home runs. Rojas hit a couple. Tucker hit a couple. James Thibbs III was second on the Dodgers in spring training with 4 home runs. He had a 1+ OPS. Great on base percentage, hit .319, 681 slug. This guy has been mashing the ball all spring. We've talked about him before. And this is just, obviously these spring numbers don't matter, but this is the Dodgers machine on full display here. The Dodgers traded Dustin May to get this guy. The Red Sox got him for like 7 starts?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it was to the Red Sox, right? We got him for the Red Sox?
Yeah, because Dustin May is now on the Cardinals. But yeah, he was part of that Dustin May trade.
And now this guy, just add him to the plethora of outfield depth that the Dodgers have in the farm system, where 4 of their top 5 prospects are all outfielders, and Zaire Hope, Jose DePaula, and then there's also Edgardo Quintero, and now James Thibbs gets thrown into the mix here. And this guy has looked awesome all spring, and his exit velocity numbers have just been disgusting. He has been smoking the ball, and it's showing. He's getting the results. And this is a great problem for the Dodgers to have. If this guy can keep it up and keep producing, and you're turning Dustin May into guys like James Thibbs, who can come up and replace Teoscar Hernandez when his contract's up in a couple of years, who can carry the torch from Kyle Tucker a few years from now. Like, the Dodgers are stacked with outfielders, and it's my favorite little storyline in the minor leagues that I'm going to be monitoring, because I want to know who they're going to prioritize next, because I really like what I see from this guy.
James Thibbs III was also named in MLB Spring Breakout first team for 2026. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it if that is your go-to, or whatever your vice. Yeah, dude, he just shined, and again, like we're talking about, all the fucking focus, man, is on Shohei, and some of these other guys are just allowed to develop who would have otherwise been, oh, this is a top prospect, he's got a lot of pressure, right? Let's see if he can make it, da-da. Instead, these guys are just banging and, getting to learn the clubhouse and getting a feel for, what it means to be a part of the Dodgers. Not just a big league club, but the Dodgers, the premier team in sports today. Yes, one guy's plethora is another guy's plethora. And speaking of a plethora of talent, dude, Santiago Espinall is my guy that really came out of nowhere for me this year. Spring was sprunging, dude, to the tune of a 372, 412 on base percentage, and a 1,040 on base percentage. Couple that, the guy had 5 doubles.
OPS.
Is that not what I said?
You said on base percentage twice. Just it's all good. Yeah.
Thank you for not letting me fake news myself.
No, it's
but
okay.
The kid had 5 doubles, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs, and what I thought was really cool, because I for some reason I thought he was just third baseman. He played 9 games at third base, but he played 4 games at first, 3 at DH, 1 at second base, and 1 at right field. So while switching around the field, he still put up these numbers. That's just, I don't know, that gets me fired up when I see a guy kind of moving around the diamond and still having success. So I think it says a lot about his approach and his mindset, and I'm really eager to see him get some time on the big league stage, Daddy.
Yep. So out of all these people out of Thibbs and Espinall got the nod for the roster. So he's made the team. So he will be on the opening day roster along with Alex Freeland. And, this is just, like I mentioned, the Dodgers machine. Just to see these guys perform this, and, now they're going to get their opportunity for playing time. This is how you win 3 championships in a row. This is how you continue to win division year after year after year. You're going to have your stars. You're going to have your superstars at the top tier that shine, but you need guys like this to come up and produce. Nobody's expecting Thibbs and Espinall to hit, 320 plus in the major leagues. Nobody's expecting that. But for them to produce and to come up and do it and contribute when they can, make the most of their opportunities, is the Dodgers machine on full display. And I really like this guy. I'm so happy he made the roster, because he earned it. I mean, this is pure earning your spot on the team, what Espinall did in spring training. And just to get back to the Thibbs point really quick about James Thibbs, this is just to shine a light on people who say that the Dodgers are buying their success right now. This is what the Dodgers turn the players, their major league players that they don't have a spot for anymore, and they turn it into top prospects. They did it with Michael Busch, who didn't have a spot on the team. They sent him to Chicago, who's very good hitter. But they turn him into Jackson Ferris, who's, up there in like the top 10 Dodgers prospects right now, and he's a top pitching prospect for them. And then they turn Dustin May, a guy that was on his way out anyway. They send him to Boston, who doesn't even have him on the team anymore. And they get James Thibbs, who now is going to climb the rankings of the Dodgers prospect list. And even if these guys don't get playing time, they're certainly going to get enough playing time to showcase their talents and then potentially get flipped for another star or another key piece the Dodgers need. And they just continually do this year after year after year. This is a great organization that knows what they're doing. They're not just buying championships. They are stockpiling talent year after year after year the right way, and it turns into guys like James Thibbs and Santiago Espinall. So,
hey, and to your point, man, another outfielder we haven't even mentioned, Andy Pages, dude, had an 876 OPS, 347 batting average, struck out 10 times to 2 walks. Look, still pretty high, but hey, cutting him down if you're getting a 347 average out of Pages, dude, that's my guy.
Well, that's
dude.
the Andy Pages experience. We're not expecting Pages to walk a lot. We're just not. he's a free swinger. But let's not forget, Pages had a great year last year. His second half wasn't as good. He was a little bit more hot out of the gates. But Pages, similar to Espinall, similar to Thibbs, he got his job on the team because he had a monster spring training last year. And then he carried that into the season, and he hits 27 homers last year.
That's
playing
insane.
elite defensive center field in a lineup with Shohei, Freddie, Mookie, Will Smith, Muncy, all these guys. Like, this is just a bonus for the Dodgers. Andy Pages he got a lot of flack for his performance in the playoffs, but he might be one of the more underrated outfielders in baseball right now. Like, this is a guy that could hit 30 home runs this year. Like,
he's the guy
especially
who
because he can be hitting like the 8 or 9 spot in the lineup,
Dude, think about it. We've talked a lot about guys getting their opportunity, and I think that's what makes this Dodger machine so special, is that they're constantly rotating and giving talent an opportunity to shine, specifically young talent. Hey, man, Pages was the guy who put the ball in play against the Phillies for Ryan O'Corcoran? I forget how to say his last name, but to
Ryan
make
O'Corcoran,
that error, you're right, to advance. Good things happen when you put the bat to the ball, and Pages, it seems like he's kind of figured it out, right? 27 homers. If he can have that kind of success that he had in the first half, where he was a legitimate all-star, like he was considered there, right? He was in the thick of it for votes. If he can come out and solidify that, that star, I mean, I really got a lot of stock in Pages, especially after making that catch in Game 7. Everybody in the world was impressed by that. So there's a heartbeat to a guy who can get put into the game in the middle of the world, Game 7, 2 outs of the World Series, bottom of the ninth, and could go make a game-saving play. Like, there's something about the mental fortitude of a guy like that, and we keep talking about guys like that coming out of this Dodger system because, like I had mentioned, cream rises to the top, Daddy-O. If you're getting opportunities and you're making, the best of it, you're gonna stay. So
let me do something for you right here. This is gonna be a fun little exercise, okay? Because obviously, like, Crow Armstrong just had a great year, right? And he just got a 6-year, $100 and whatever $1 million deal. But if you want to compare like the offensive stats here between PCA and Andy Pages, and there's like Crow Armstrong hit 31 homers, hit 247 with a 481 slug and a 768 OPS. But his on-base percentage was below 300. He had an amazing first half, abysmal second half, but plays obviously like top tier 1A defense, second to none in the league, right? One of the best center fielders in baseball. Andy Pages is a really good defensive outfielder. Not Crow Armstrong level, but one of the best. And he, PCA had 6 WAR. Andy Pages had nearly 4 WAR last year. But he had a better on-base percentage in PCA, similar slug, just barely under the slug, and a better OPS. PCA had a 118 OPS plus, whereas Pages had a 114 OPS plus. And the Dodgers have him on the super cheap. Like, and I'm not saying that like he's better than he's comparable to PCA, but I'm saying like the offensive numbers are. So if he just continues to do what he's doing from an offensive standpoint and playing really good defense in center field, like, this Dodgers stockpile of young outfielders really is fucking crazy how many good young outfielders that they have. Like, they have so many to choose from, and I think that Andy Pages is taking a little bit too much heat from Dodger fans for how his season ended last year in the playoffs, because he is really good, man. Like, he is rock solid, and he is what we wanted James Outman to be. 100%.
Yeah, dude. Hey, Andy Pages has been in front of us, but has not broken. And that is something that I don't know that I could say about myself, brother. If I was up there just getting out after out every time I came to the dish in the postseason, that would start to wear me down. But, like, hey, who gets the game-winning, ball in play against the Phillies? It's Andy. Who comes in to save the World Series? It's Andy. And it's just incredible to me. Like, I underappreciated this Dodgers depth in the outfield because, Jess, who was everybody fired up to see this spring, right? Zaire Hope. And I'm still very high stock on him, but he didn't really perform. And I think that Pages maybe took some of that hype personal. It's like, hey, don't forget about me. Like you said, I hit 27 home runs in the show last year. That means something.
Look, Zaire Hope might be more talented than Andy Pages, but Andy Pages is more of a major league outfielder right now, as it stands. And he's just a major league ready guy, and who's proven himself. I think you put a guy like Pages on a bunch of other teams, and he's going to be one of their 3 or 4 best hitters. So it just so happens that he's on the Dodgers, and when you can put a guy like that in your 8 or 9 hole, the sky is going to be the limit for this team, and I do think the Dodgers are going to average 6 runs a game, which we will get into on our NL preview. One note before we move to that, Kyle Tucker did have a very good spring, by the way. Signed the $60 million a year deal, and broke the minds of baseball fans. He had a .932 OPS in spring, hit a couple of homers, got on base a lot. He looks great, he looks ready, and I think Kyle Tucker is going to have a monster season, like hitting behind Shohei. I'm thinking 280 average, 400 on base, 35 homers, 100 runs scored, 120 RBIs, 25 stolen bases. I think this guy's gonna he'll be in the MVP conversation, and no doubt in my mind. He's gonna be great. All right, let's do our NL preview really quick because we are short on time. A couple weeks ago, we did our AL preview. You and I picked the Yankees to win the East. I think you picked the Blue Jays.
I did.
I picked the Tigers to win the Central. I believe you did the same. And then I picked the Mariners to win the West, but have the Rangers as my sleeper pick. And I picked the Yankees to come out of the AL. And the more I think of it, the more I don't like the pick. But you picked the Blue Jays, I think, right?
I did, and I also I don't know, who did I pick out of the West? I forget now.
I think you picked Seattle as well.
I don't know. But does that sound like me?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, no, it's not the A's. I know it's not the A's. You wouldn't do that again. But all right, let's do the NL East. So we start with my pick first, I guess. I thought about this one a lot. I really like the division. The top 3 in this division are really good. I think the Marlins are actually better than people are giving them credit for. And the Nationals have some talent, but they're pretty much dog shit, other than like a few players. But I really do think that the Phillies are still the best team in the East. And I think that people are like reacting too much to what the Mets did. The Mets only win the East if Kodai Senga is back to the pitcher he was a few years ago. If he's not, I don't know if Nolan McLean and Freddie Peralta are enough. I'm not a huge Freddie Peralta guy in terms of how many innings he pitched. He doesn't pitch a lot of innings. He doesn't eat enough. I would take Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo over Freddie Peralta and Nolan McLean. And they're also still going to get Zach Wheeler back. The Phillies are, who's coming back of his blood clot surgery that he had to deal with. So he might not be the same pitcher, but if he's 80% of what he was before the injury, I still think that the Phillies lineup is good enough. I think their pitching is good enough, and they have Joan Duran in the back end of the bullpen, who I will take over Devin Williams. I still like the Phillies to win the East.
Man, I want to fight. I want to fight you on this, right? I want to like pitch you on the Braves and why I think there's so much talent there.
They're like my sleeper pick, like the Rangers, like a team that like could easily come out and dominate. Too many injuries, man. Spencer Strider has looked terrible in spring. They lost Schwellenbach. Chris Sale only makes 23 starts a year. It's just not enough for me. I think the Braves are going to have issues getting 27 outs this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're dealing with, like, just fucking, I guess, having to still play cheater Profar, which sucks. I hope they can get out of paying him that money. I mean, honestly, like, people have said this, but if he had a spine, he'd return the money.
Well, he's not getting paid this year, so.
Right.
He kind of is.
You know what I mean. No, yeah, there you go. silver lining. But yeah, I just can't talk myself into the Braves, not with all the injuries. Sale, Strider, I can go on forever, baby. Acuna does look great in in the limited amount we got to see him in the World Baseball Classic. I forgot how great he is when he's healthy. So the Braves are never fully out of it when you got Acuna on your team. If they can just hunt around and be like a wild card team, they'll be dangerous come October, health notwithstanding. But like I said, I just can't talk myself into it right now. Too many injuries.
They're not a 74-win team like they were last year, but they're not
No.
the 94-win team that they were a couple years back.
And it's gonna be like, are they an 84-win team, or are they closer to like an 88-win team? So I don't know. I know it seems not important, but around that 90 wins is where you got to be to sneak into the dance. And I think 88 could get it done. I also, staying in the NL East, obviously, Jess, could really talk myself into the New York Mets. Sean Manaea is now the highest paid reliever in baseball. Now that
I know he does not look the same as he was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it sucks. It feels like the tide has really shifted on him. Hopefully he can figure it out. I am a Manaea fan. But yeah, for me, the Mets are exciting. You got Bo Bichette, but I'm not really sold on the rotation. Obviously lost Edwin Diaz, so I'm not too sure about the bullpen, or at least in their closer role. I know they got Devin Williams, who had a shaky season with the Yankees. We'll see if he can bounce back in New York and in that market. But Jess, the reason why I'm not so sold about the Mets, and this might be nitpicky because we're big Dominican Republic guys out here. We love that team. A lot of people have said that they were the best team in the world, including star of the New York Mets, Juan Soto. And honestly, Jess, it kind of sat weird with me because they're not the best team in the world. The Venezuelan team is. And it just kind of felt like a little bit of sour grapes, and it felt a little immature from a guy who is the highest paid player in the sport. And I know it's nitpicky, whatever. But it just feels to me like a lack of maybe ownership or accountability, or maybe it's a little bit of, I don't know, inability to have some humble pie in the moment, and I'm taking it out of context. But Jess, it just feels like to me that with that kind of leadership in your clubhouse, it doesn't scream championship to me. So for me, it's got to be the Philadelphia Fighting Phillies as your NL East champions.
And, I'm happy you said that, because there were talks about this when Soto was with the Padres, that there was weird stuff in the clubhouse, but that was also because Soto was waiting to get paid. He was on the hook to get paid a shitload of money. But there's talk apparently that Soto and Lindor, there's some like weird stuff there between the two of them, that they might not be as cool as you might hope. I still think the Mets have all the talent in the world, but I do agree with you there about Soto. Also, he made those comments about MVP and Shohei, and it's like, Shohei better be, keep his eye out because I'm coming for him. It just seems like Soto is I don't know. I think he needs a PR guy to manage his public statements. Huh?
I agree with you. Can I tell you who I think my comp is for Soto? It's Kevin Durant. He kind of will never shake the allegations, you joined a team, whatever. Look, he won a championship with the Nats, just like KD almost won with the Young Thunder, right?
Yeah.
The star of that core of talent of Harden and Westbrook and whatever, right? They go on, but hey, he never beat the rap after winning his championship with the Warriors. It's like, oh, you joined a great team. I don't know. It seems like now that Soto's got the bag, he kind of doesn't give a shit as much. Hey,
I could also see Soto having a burner account too.
I so could. Yeah. I really could. And I'm just look, I'm not knocking the talent. I'm not even knocking the guy. But like you said, there's been some less than stellar accusations, mumbles, some grumblings. I chalked it all up pretty much to just hey, this guy is a shrewd business first player. And I just don't think it's unprecedented in this generation, right? He's a younger guy, very not media savvy, but I think business savvy, and understands that there's a lot of money flowing through this game, and he wanted his chunk of it, and that will just inevitably rub some people the wrong way, right? There's a lot of purists that just want the love of the game.
Well, also when you hear the stuff about the Yankees, like that, there were certain things he was demanding of the Mets the Yankees weren't willing to accommodate him on, certain player boxes up in a suite for his family or something like that. Things that the Yankees don't do for their players. Just little things that you heard in the negotiation process where it seems like Soto was.
There's a little bit of a bouginess, right?
But there's also a Scott Boras thing there that we might
be
just over completely blaming Soto for when it's really a Boras thing.
And sometimes an agent and their player are a perfect match, and we could be seeing that. Soto's been in the league for a while now. He's the highest paid player in the game for a reason. He is an ultra talent. But sometimes like you said, the PR is less than ultra talent.
Really quick though, just my reasons for the Phillies. I really like Christopher Sanchez, and I think Luzardo is really good. He's coming into his own as a pitcher. He could be a guy that could put together a Cy Young season at some point in his career. I mean, he hasn't been able to do it yet, but he was really good against the Dodgers. So was Sanchez in his 2 starts against the Dodgers. I really like those guys. I think that they'll be able to carry the load long enough, even with Ranger Suarez going to the Red Sox. I still think they'll be able to carry the load long enough. After Wheeler, when he comes back, it gets a little weird back at the back end of the rotation. But I think they have enough bullpen, and you still have Harper, Schwarber, Trey Turner. You still have really good guys in that lineup, and I still think that they have enough. One argument to make for the Mets. Obviously, Bo Bichette. I do think that Luis Robert is a great change of scenery guy, potentially to figure it out again by getting out of Chicago, going to New York, bouncing back, and the talent is still there. It's not been an injury thing. But also Kodai Senga, who I do think he needs to be good, but he's looked great in spring. His velocity is up, and it seems like he's healthy. So if he can figure it out and put a full season together, I do think that the Mets could win the division. I'm just going with the Phillies for now. Moving on. Sorry, go ahead. One last thing.
No, I was just going to say, a ton of talent on the Mets, just a lot to prove still. We'll see how Bo Bichette steadies the middle of that lineup. But the absence of Pete is going to be noticeable. So we'll see how it all stabilizes. And, hey, maybe the departure of, longtime team, our longtime Mets, right, like Nimmo and Pete, affect the clubhouse. Maybe it gets better. Who knows?
Yeah. NL Central. This one's a little bit tougher because all the respect in the world to Milwaukee Brewers and what they've done. They led the league in wins last year, but everybody's picking the Cubs. And the Brewers, they lost Freddie Peralta. They traded him to the Mets. And, they don't have a lot of sex appeal. But they are projected for 83.5 wins this year, even though they won 98 last year and went to the NLCS. The Cubs are projected by most people to win the Central, and this one's tough. I do think that the Cubs are gonna win the Central, but I think that there's just a lot of disrespect going the Brewers' way right now. I think people just don't like the way the Brewers play baseball, but they're a stacked team. They have all of the pieces there. I think it's going to be a close race. I even think the Reds could find a way into the conversation. They're going to need to play well up until the time Hunter Green comes back. I think that the Pirates could be a little bit of a sleeper team this year. It could be an above 500 team and throw a spanner into the works for a couple of these teams. That Pirates rotation with Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Braxton Ashcraft, they've got and Bubba Chandler, they have some really good arms there in Pittsburgh, and I think they could keep games low scoring games, and they could steal a few here and there, and we could be talking about a 3 or 4 team race in that division up until the beginning of September. But I am picking the Cubs to win the division.
Ooh.
I like the offense. I think the Cubs' offense is awesome, and they're gonna score enough runs to outlast some of these pitching staffs in the Central.
Yeah, I'm not as enthused about the NL Central as you are. I don't really see the Reds, I don't know, hanging around for a full season. I think we'll see them have some fun, fun runs, maybe a couple of cool highlights here or there. I'm not in enough. Same thing goes for the Pirates. It just feels a little fragile right now. It's just all on the health of their starting pitchers. And look, yeah, that rotation's pretty good, but we saw the Seattle Mariners struggle in a pretty weak AL West without any hitting, and they have the best rotation in baseball, arguably, right? Obviously, had a much deeper run last year, but had to get some bats. And I just don't feel like Pittsburgh has the firepower to remain relevant through a full 162.
You don't think Branden Lau is enough?
I think he's a start.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is to me a two-team race, and it's the Brewers and it's the Cubs. And I'm debating if I'm just a fool for not believing in the Brewers. Sorry, at this point. But for the Brewers, I mean, I can talk myself into the fragility of the lineup on whether or not Jackson Chourio continues to develop at the rate he is. Like, if he has a regression, do I think that maybe the Cubs have enough in the tank to slip past them or even blow by them if he continues to struggle, hypothetically in the season? So yeah, I want to take the Brewers, but I'm right there with you with the Cubbies being my favorite to win the NL Central. There's just something about, I don't know. I really like Seiya. I really like that. I've just always kind of been an Ian Happ guy, and I don't know. I don't know. I like the makeup of this team.
I think Bregman too. Adding Bregman, I don't know if he's not like my argument about Max Muncy and Alex Bregman. I think Muncy is a better offensive threat than Bregman is. But that infield, the defense of the Cubs with PCA in center, and then you have Dansby Swanson, Alex Bregman, Nico Horner, Michael Busch. You just incredible defensive team. Like, they're gonna make their pitchers that much better with the level of defense they put on there. And Bregman coming to the team, they lose Tucker, but they add Bregman. Bregman keeps their floor way sturdier than a team like the Brewers, in my opinion. I think that if one team's going to run away with the division, it's going to be the Cubs, whereas the Brewers, I think, are going to have to edge it out by a couple of games. And I just don't see that being. I think the Cubs have a much higher ceiling and they also have a higher floor. And
totally.
We could be underestimating the Brewers, but a lot has to go right. They probably need a really good Yelich year. They're going to need Jackson Chourio to take another step. They're going to need one of their other pitchers to fill in the Freddie Peralta hole, which they're really good at doing. They're good at.
What's their catcher's name? Contreras.
Contreras needs to bounce back. Wilson. It's William Contreras.
William
Contreras.
Love that guy. But
he needs
super
to bounce
talented.
back and have a really good offensive year. He's one of the best catchers in baseball. Last year he was, took a little bit of a step back, but they're all the pieces are there for them. And also Bryce Terang, if he continues to progress, he's really good. But I just don't know if they have enough firepower to outlast the Cubs in that division. And I just think that the Cubs
loaded up,
especially if Justin Steele comes back eventually healthy and he looks good, that rotation could be, Shota Imanaga looks great. His velocity is up. That rotation could be enough to handle that division.
And honestly, dude, I love the way they play defense, all around the diamond. There's just some insane play. There's web gems all year.
They're going to lead the league
guys
in
like
defensive
Nico
runs saved.
and Happ. There's just crazy talent out there. I didn't even talk about Culberson, but yeah, dude, it's just or Swanson.
I mean Swanson.
Yeah, sorry, they look the same.
I know. Well, we always mix them up. Yeah,
dude, they're gorgeous. My bad, Charlie.
All right. I will say sleeper team in the division. Pirates only because I like the pitching so much, and they added Branden Lau, and they also Connor Griffin is the number one prospect in all of baseball. He's starting the league in the minors, but he'll get the call up probably late April, early May, and that'll help their offense if he plays well. But It seems like there are too many things need to go right for the Pirates to do anything this year. NL West. Ever heard of it?
Got you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dodgers have won 13 of the last 14. Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, other than that bullshit 2021 season where they won 105 games and still did not win the division.
Damn that Alex Wood.
Defending champion LA Dodgers, leaders of the pack. Look, we're both picking the Dodgers to win the division, I would imagine. Is there an argument for another team? Like, what other team do you think has the best chance of pulling it off this year?
I mean, the Padres always have to be a threat, right? With that core of Tatis and Manny, and you got Will Meyer. No, I'm just kidding.
God.
Oh my God, what's their center fielder? Jackson
Merrill.
You know, that's a very, very formidable 1, 2, 3 in any lineup. So they're always, deserve a tip of the cap. Rotation is a little bit spotty. Don't know if Darvish is going to be there.
Dude.
Who's the guy that came from the Yankees in the Soto trade? Had a great couple of seasons, but got hurt, I think, at the end of last year.
Michael King.
Thank you. Sorry, drawed a blank. So we'll see what we get with Michael King. But yeah, big question mark. The Giants have gotten better, have definitely taken a step forward, added Harrison Bader. Somebody else I'm skimping. God, sorry, I don't have the lineup in front of me. I'm blowing it.
Well, okay. Let me make a quick point about the Padres before we move
Luis
to the Giants.
Arise is who I was thinking of. Yeah. They added as well.
The Padres rotation could be an absolute disaster this year. And
yes.
I still love the lineup. I still think that they could be a high scoring team. But they're going to need to really, they're going to need Tatis to, get back to 900 OPS Tatis. And Machado had a bad year last year. I mean, Muncy, like I said, was a better player than Machado. His defense is great. His offense was not great last year. It was just okay. Both those guys need to bounce back. Joe Musgrove is going to start the year on the IL. He's still recovering from Tommy John surgery. He has not looked great. And with and then there's Michael King, and then Darvish might be retiring, and then you got Nick Pivetta, who was really good last year, but if he regresses, takes a step back, this is going to be an adventure. The bullpen is where this team really shines. If they can have a lead after the 6th inning, the Padres are going to win games. I just think that that's going to be an issue for them. I like the Giants. Probably because, I like Logan Webb. I like Robbie Ray. I think that they have enough on offense to, be like an 88-win team in that division. I do think that the Giants will finish in second place and the Padres will be third. But it's a toss-up. Even the Diamondbacks, if they could get some pitching, they're going to score a ton of runs. That 2 through 4 is such a toss-up. And if there's any team that I think could unseat the Dodgers, though, and potentially win the division, it would have to be the team that I think has the most firepower. So I would say the Padres. But I think it's going to be Giants second, Padres third.
Yeah, I actually can get kind of fired up on the Giants lineup. You got Jung-Hoo Lee, Luis Ariz, Willie Adames, Harrison Bader, Rafael Devers. That is formidable right there, right? I know they got Heliot Ramos and some other, I'm not sure the whole makeup of the team. It's been a while. But there's enough there to get excited. And they play at a weirdly giant outfield that anything can happen. So you kind of go, hey, man, luck at AT&T or Oracle, whatever it is now, Park. And I don't know. There's something about the Giants and them being in the Dodgers heels that always gets me fired up. I love a little rivalry with our hated one, Giants.
Yeah, and now you have a full year with Devers to start the year. He's comfortable at first base now. He's going to start the year as the first baseman. Matt Chapman, excellent defensive third baseman. Willie Adames, excellent defensive shortstop. They have a good defensive left side of the infield. And Logan Webb, they have a true ace who's probably lock him in for 190 innings this year.
Yeah.
So I think that they have
Robbie Ray. We didn't even talk about either.
Yeah,
they got a good staff.
Yeah, they have some good pieces, and maybe Luis Arias is like a perfect fit for that stadium because they're not going to try to hit home runs. They're just going to try to put the ball in play and single you to death,
Yeah.
So, and I also think Adames is like he didn't have a great year last year, but he still almost hit 30 homers, I think. Or did he hit 30 homers? I think he hit 30 homers exactly last year. And that was that was a tough thing for them for a long time. Like since Barry Bonds, I don't think like anybody had hit 30 homers as a member of the Giants
in like 20 years almost or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Something absurd.
And he only hit 225. I think that number will come up. I think he could be a bounce back candidate in that regard. So I like the Giants and where they're headed, and I think they're going in the right direction. So I'll take them
so for
second.
the NL West, that's what we'll run it as, right? Because we all know number 1 is Dodgers. So who are you taking at number 2 out of the NL West?
Giants. So Dodgers, Giants, Padres, D-backs, Rockies.
I don't want to do this, but I completely agree with you. It's Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Or did you have the Padres down at in the 4-hole?
And the X factor is in the division is going to be the D-backs. Like the wild card pick would be like if they can just crush the ball up until Corbin Burns comes back, and Zach Gallen has a bounce back year because he's going to be pitching for a contract now. Merrill Kelly, they do have some guys that could get some outs that could pitch well for them. So I'm worried about their pitching, but if those guys could figure it out, Gallen can figure it out, and Burns comes back healthy, they could.
They could be making some noise, dude.
They could be dangerous too. I like that because I love the lineup.
Yeah, I always got respect for the Snakes. And one last thing I want to say about the newest San Francisco Giant, Luis Arias. We were covering the World Baseball Classic. Arias, when he rejoined the team, was I guess not wearing his medal, his gold medal for the championship, as many Venezuelan players had been doing as they rejoined the camp. And he told reporters that he didn't have it anymore, and that actually he had given his medal to his mother because she was the one who deserved it. So I was like, you know what? Like, I couldn't like Team Venezuela anymore. We all love our moms, like two-time batting
Shout out to the
champ,
moms, dude.
We love our moms, dude. Shouts out Luis Arias for being a good guy.
Shouts out, and that means who's coming out of the National League? You have the Dodgers winning the West. You have the Cubs winning the Central. Phillies winning the East. I have the Dodgers beating the Cubs in the NLCS and beating the Yankees in the World Series. Even though I don't like my Yankees pick anymore, I'll pick I'm gonna stick with it because I'm a man of my word.
Yeah, dude, I'm calling it. It will be the Dodgers. It will also be the Cubbies in the championship series. I hate that we're in lockstep. But
you and I,
where we differ, I think that the Dodgers and Blue Jays are going to run it back. I think it's going to do numbers, and I think it's going to ultimately be Dodgers in 6.
Well, yeah, sorry, I should have said Dodgers in 6 over the Yankees as well.
Dude, get out of my head.
But only because Dodgers have to. I think that they can sweep the Yankees, to be honest. But Dodgers need to win one at home, and I do think they'll have the best record in baseball, and they'll have home field in the World Series. So the Dodgers are going to have to win in 6 to win at home. So that's why I'm picking it.
Hey, I love the way we drew it up. I hope it plays out like that for this season.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll be back next week once the regular season has begun.
Yay.
Opening day is on Thursday for the Dodgers. Opening day for the regular season starts tomorrow. It's I think it's Giants Yankees, I believe. Starts the official season. But yeah, thanks as always. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And this has been Deferred Collusion. It's me, Jesse Rowe, King of Crespi, joined as always by Branden Bullinger, Lord Paramount of Los Angeles, California. Branden, who's your X factor for the Dodgers? Go. Who do you got?
Dude, it's got to be Andy Pages. I talked myself into it. It was going to be Muncy. But you know what? I don't think he's an X factor because everybody expects him to slug. So,
Oh,
Andy Pages, baby. But Jess, It's been another episode of Deferred Collusion. You know I love talking ball with you. You're my blue-collar boy. And we love talking about our boys in blue, so go figure. If you got a guy you work with that you love talking sports with, send him this. That's how me and Jess met. And we've been talking ball for over a decade now, so about 2 years formally. But, hey, it's been a blast. We love that you're joining us. And if you've stuck with us this long, please tell your friends. Hit us in the comments. What are you looking forward to this season? If you're out at opening day at Dodger Stadium this Thursday, I'll be there. Say what's up if you see me. I will say what's up right back. I miss you, Jess. Let's get to a game.
Absolutely. By the way, my X Factor, a lot of fans might not love this. Tanner Scott. Come on, Tanner. Otherwise, might be the worst Freeland contract ever. But we'll see. Yeah.
Balls in your court, Tan Man.
Yep.
You got this, Scott. I believe in you.
You got it, Tanner.